What is a hug tech? Okay, so a hug tech is when Blight intentionally slides on a surface instead of using what we call bump logic, which is kind of like ping-ponging off of different surfaces to catch a survivor. So, you know, it'd be kind of like jagged rushes instead of, you know, one long fluid one. So like in a common example of someone intentionally hug teching is, let's say on Killer Shack, and if a survivor is coming through this doorway and starting to run to the window, instead of Blight rushing at this doorway, rushing inside to bump here, and then to rush at the window to get a hit before they make it, instead, Blights anticipate the vault at the window, they bounce off of Killer Shack, and then they look fully down at the ground, rush and slide while running, and then catch them as they vault the window. And it might not always work. Who knows? The survivor might anticipate. It's pretty easy to spot coming a Blight who looks all the way down, and once they do it once in a match, they're going to expect it again. So it might not work every time. And this could also be really good at like regular loops, like the, for example, Auto Haven or Haddonfield, where there's a bunch of cars, and the cars can be really slippery as well. So like if I'm on Auto Haven and I'm at a pallet loop right here, and the survivor is sitting right here, and I don't want to go here until the survivor drops it, and I fake back and forth. I can just bump right here, look down, and try and catch this. And it's kind of a risky play. It would be so much more efficient, just use bump logic or force the pallet to be dropped, but it's really fun. It's really fun to hug tech. It's risky. Will it ever get fixed? So that's the thing. I know back in around May, Mandy, I think her name was, she made a forum post saying, ooh, just barely, she made a forum post being like, it's a bug, unintended, and we plan on fixing it, but not really giving it a date. And it's been like almost half a year now, so I was like at the point, well, it might not ever fix it, so might as well learn it. But it's very noticeable. If you see a Blight looking down, even from far away, you'll know exactly what they're doing. There's kind of a miniature hug tech right there around the tree. Good blind. Isn't it uncounterable? No, I think that's another common misconception, that it's uncounterable. If you notice it from far away, play safer, don't go for open areas, like position yourself properly as survivor, and you're not gonna go down to it as often as you think. If behavior fixes it, sure, fine, whatever. I'll be a little disappointed because, you know, I did spend a decent amount of time learning it, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's almost like, to me, it's kind of like Space and Sky Billy. I spent a long time learning it. Of course, you know, hug teching does give an advantage, so to speak. Not the best comparison, I guess. But if they decide it, sure, fine. It's their game. They get to make the choice. But then they should also fix all these slippery-ass environments in the game. Ormond, Auto Haven have really big issues with slippery environments. Killer Shack, you could run at it and it will not collide. There'll be no collision. And that happens so many places in so many DBD maps, and it's so frustrating. When I was initially learning Blight, I couldn't understand why I wasn't connecting with certain surfaces. It made no sense to me. So if they're gonna fix hug tech, that's fine, whatever. At least fix, if you're gonna fix hug tech, you have to fix the collision. In my eyes, it's only fair, because if everything's slippery to a Blight player, then might as well use that to your advantage, right? If you're gonna fix hug tech, you need to fix the environment as well, which I feel like is never gonna happen. Yeah, I think Lilith Omen, he's like a really good Blight player. He talked about it earlier, and he made like a really good comparison that I saw. The hug tech is unintended, but it's kind of become part of the accessibility thing. You know, like more controller players can like actually play Blight because it makes it a little bit easier on them if they can properly learn the hug tech. And also that, like, he made a good comparison to spinning and 360ing. I don't think the developers, when they initially made the game, like, planned on adding spinning and 360ing the killer, but it became a part of it. It was like a part of the game's overall charm. And, you know, if you learned it, then, you know, kudos to you. You get to use that mechanic. I've seen a couple people say that removing hug tech will buff Blight. I don't necessarily agree. Like, I feel, yeah, Blight players will have to be more efficient. They won't be able to go for any crazy, like, fun, risky hits. They'll have to just go for primarily bump logic, but I don't think that'll necessarily buff Blight. Might increase the kill rates a little bit, but only because you can't really go for crazy stuff anymore. Ooh, that was a good hug tech. Very nice. Nice. I'm at the point where it's like, if they fix it, whatever, but they gotta fix everything being slippery. It's very... There's not many more things frustrating than just sliding off of a completely flat surface. Woo! That was nasty. Like, fun plays like that are awesome. It's just a lot of fun. Even if they remove it, I had so much fun with this. Let's see if we can pull something off here. Nice. Woo! That was nice. I just want to mess around. I don't really want to sweat all the time. I just want to go for fun hits. You know, I don't really bring slowdown that often. Nice. Oh, nice. A little bit of catching up to do. Never mind. GG's. Yeah, I just think it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. And if they remove it, so be it. Can't control what they decide to change, but I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious what everyone thinks of it. Like, should it be removed? Should they just change it? Should they make it harder to learn? I don't know. Because in my eyes, it's either leave it in or fix every slippery surface that's, you know, inconsistent with Blight and then remove it, you know? Because if they remove it, then people are only going to go for safe, efficient plays, bump logic, instead of going for crazy shit, you know?